Welcome to Green Cleaning. There we go. So a little bit about our workshops. This is our second one of the newly restarted Green Living workshops that we're putting on. They're free to the public, and you can always find them on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or if you want the easiest way to do it, you can sign up for our e-newsletter and we'll send that information right to you. No need for looking for it, it'll come to you. And feel free, this QR code will come back up at the end and you can scan it and it'll let you click on our Facebook page, Instagram, e-newsletter sign up, everything. So as you know, for green cleaning, we're trying to reduce the hazardous chemicals and hazardous waste in our community. These green cleaning recipes really help reduce hazardous waste in our community, and by lowering our hazardous chemical usage. And then we'll be talking about looking at your labels, checking them if you do have hazardous chemicals in your home. But hopefully after this, you won't need them. And we'll talk a little bit about what the harm that can come from those types of hazardous chemicals. And there we go. Our teacher host for today is Denise Frakes. She is a healthy home transformational life coach. She's also the facilitator for the Puget Sound Asthma Coalition, which they definitely are forward thinking and trying to lower the risk of asthma with green cleaning. And you can check her out on her website. If you guys need any information from her, please, feel free to send a message to her, put it in the chat. And we started our recording. You can feel free to turn off your camera if you don't want to be on the recording. There's only a few that'll be able to be seen, but yeah, feel free to turn that off and we'll move through the PowerPoint, through the presentations and demonstrations. And when we get to the Q&A portion, then we can turn that off and we can turn back on our cameras and have a little face-to-face discussion about green cleaning. And with that, I will stop sharing my slides and Denise, take it away.
All right, thank you, Reese. Oh, hello, everybody. Oh, it's so good to see. I see names I recognize. Welcome. Hi, Rebecca. So this is so good. I'm so glad you all came. So whether you love to clean or you hate to clean, this is going to help you. This is going to make your life so much easier. And I don't know if you know this, so I had a question in the thing about not mixing chemicals. Did you know the average professional cleaner, they have a 40% chance of getting asthma by being a professional cleaner? And it's a very high relation to women who stay home to also have asthma. Now, or health lung issues, does that mean it comes from a lot of times in the family? There is one person that does most of the cleaning. Whoever the cleaner is in the household has a high risk of developing health issues from being cleaners. And there is absolutely no need for that at all. So what I'm going to teach you tonight and show you and demonstrate with you is how to reduce the amount of chemicals you have in your home. So Reese and the City of Federal Way were so awesome. They built this kit for us. And this kit has very few cleaners in it. One of them is vinegar. One of them is baking soda. And the other one is dishwashing liquid. The one we put in there was Dawn, although having something like a free and clear, like 7th generation or something, is also a really great alternative. So these 3 cleaners, you can do most of your cleaning in your house. The other thing they've added, and I'm so grateful for this, they've added 2 microfibers, and this is the green cleaning kit. So if you are the top 100 people that signed up, you got a green cleaning kit. But if you didn't get one, it's not really a big deal, because the good thing about green cleaning and doing this type of cleaning is you need very few products. And so we're figuring out just these three alone is probably less than $8 for being able to do your own house. The other thing they have in the kit is 2 microfibers. There's an all-purpose microfiber and a window microfiber, which I'll show you how to use that briefly. And then there are also 3 bottles for mixing, and I have made labels on 2 of them, one for vinegar and one for the dishwashing liquid. So that's what came in the kit, which is fantastic, because how many people only have these 3 things to do your whole house and microfibers? Right. So this is how much room you need for all your cleaners. Isn't that amazing? So you think about last month, we talked about decluttering. This is the ultimate of decluttering because you don't have to, I mean, usually when we have so many products, they take up so much space in the house, but they also off gas. And then we have to, at some point, safely take them to hazardous waste if we haven't used them. And if we have used them, we probably got the toxicity in our house. But all that manufacturing, all that environmental waste really doesn't even have to happen. So what I'm going to show you tonight is what I learned from my husband, and I had restoration cleaning companies, and there's a basic formula for cleaning. And I don't know why nobody teaches us. Everybody should know this basic formula for cleaning. I think we all kind of know it instinctively, but as far as actually knowing how it works in the real world, not very many people do. So here's the basic formula for cleaning. Oh, speaking of the kit, it also came with a recipe card. But this formula is not on the recipe card. So let's just compare it to washing your hands. When you wash your hands, you have hot water, you have soap, you agitate it, you do it for 20 seconds, right? So you have water, you have soap, you have agitation, and a lot of times you use hot water. And then you rinse and you dry. That is all you really need to know about cleaning right there. There is a washing step, a rinsing step, and a drying step. And in the washing step, the cleaner, if you're using the whole formula, you don't have to use as toxic of cleaner. And how long you agitate makes your work better. The more you rub friction makes it even better. And the amount of temperature in your water. So here's the formula. It's time, how long your cleaners are sitting there. Friction, how much agitation you have. You have the temperature, using hot water, cold water, and then your cleaner. So what we do in our culture is we think of everything has to be the most aggressive thing out there, you know, shoot to kill. But in honestly, you don't have to. So I'm going to show you how to do cleaning that's going to use very little products. So with your microfibers, what recent Federal Way gave us is 2. So there's an all-purpose, and then there's what I call a window cleaner. And a window cleaning microfibers is a slick microfiber. So there's 2 microfibers. And why you want to have 2 is, did you know that in cleaning is actually not adding a chemical. Cleaning is the removal. So when you have something on your surface, what cleaning is not adding on, it's removing. So when you think about that, and you can look it up in the CDC, that's what they were saying. We're trying to remove. So with microfibers, a good microfiber system will remove 99% of germs and bacteria. So what I did was I have the 2 microfibers, the all-purpose one, the fuzzy one, I got damp. I wrang it out really well. So it's just tacky damp, and microfibers work better that way. And then I kept the slick one, the window one, dry. So this is the 2-part system of using just microfibers to clean. And again, you're removing 99% of what you have. Now in my house, when I clean like 90% of my house with just these 2. Sometimes I use soap. That is like 99% of all of my cleaning. So when you're cleaning, you want to hold your hand flat because you're breaking the surface tension. You don't want to ball it up because you want to have good contact. And all you're going to do is go back and forth, side to side, and then again flat, and dry it. It is so complicated. That is basic cleaning right there. Now, what that does is it leaves, you're just focusing on the removal. So this is fantastic for like high contact areas in a house, like door handles, light switches, you know, light handles, faucets here, things you use and touch all the time. That is perfect of walking around and just doing those 2 towel system of removal. So those are 2 of the products in the kit. Another thing in the kit is dishwashing liquid. My mom always told me, once you have a thing of hot soapy water, don't let it go to waste, get to using with it. So putting a couple drops in your sink of dishwashing liquid gives you a nice vat of hot soapy water that you can clean with. So you can have it in your sink and work with it. Now, if I'm working with it out of the sink, what I want to do, and maybe I have something a little bit more soiled, so instead of just using the microfibers, I have a washcloth here. Hot soapy water. I usually do a little rinse before I put in here because most people use way too much cleaner. So now I have a soapy towel. So again, agitate and then dry. So that the difference between those 2 systems is one of them is just using microfibers and a drying system. The other is using just dishwashing liquid and a drying system. Anytime you put any soap on something or get something wet, you always dry. It's like if you wash your hand, you're not going to just have soap on it and then walk away, right? And you're not going to just have wet hands and then walk around the house. I mean, you're just going to be making a mess. So anytime, because cleaning is all about removal, you always want to have as many removal steps as you can. Now, if you have super soiled surface, you have like, you can go like maybe a little bit more soap. Then you could also agitate longer, let it sit longer. You could add hot water. You could let it dwell. But you don't really need to go up into anything more aggressive, the dishwashing liquid. What I want you to do if you want to go more, if you have more soil, you have more time of dwelling, more agitation and hotter water, then you can always stay with something pretty mild. And honestly, dishwashing liquid is by far the best cleaner out there. The one thing about dishwashing liquid is because it's got so many bubbles, anything that shampoos and hand washes, hand soaps and this with so many bubbles, they tend to leave a residue if they're not removed. So anytime you have a cleaner of any kind, you want to rinse and dry, but specifically a bubbly type cleaner absolutely needs to be rinsed and dried, or if cleaners are left behind, they'll kind of attract soil. So that's how simple cleaning is. So if I've got a super soil, agitate, rinse, and then dry. What you'll find is your house will stay cleaner because you're not leaving any residue behind, meaning you're not leaving cleaners behind. And so when you feel things, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that is so much cleaner than I'm used to. A couple other things that they gave in the kit is baking soda. So baking soda is fantastic for cleaning drains and also for scrubbing your sinks. So if I want to scrub my sink, so I have a stainless steel sink, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of baking soda in my sink, and I'm going to use something like a non-scratch pad. A non-scratch pad would be usually the blue one. It's non-scratch, or in the pads, it's usually white. So I usually go with non-scratch if I'm doing anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put baking soda in my sink, and I'm going to agitate that all around it. And then I'm going to rinse it with vinegar. Not only is that going to really pop my sink and remove a lot of residue, but it's also going to help clean my drains. So after I've cleaned with that, anytime you put baking soda down your sink, you want to make sure you run quite a bit of hot water to make sure it doesn't stick. So I clean my sink with baking soda, just agitate it, smear it around, rub it in, then rinse it down with vinegar, and then wait for about 5 minutes, and then go ahead and run hot water through my sink. And then I've done, not only did I make my sink smell or clean, I also helped clean my drain. Another
you use white water, you use white vinegar exclusively. Is there anything about cider or not as good about cider?
I would kind of stick with just plain old white vinegar. And really the only time I use vinegar is if I'm going to be cleaning my toilets, because it's an acid, and most of the soil in your toilets is a mineral backup. and acids help remove it because minerals in your are actually alkaline.
Okay.
So you use vinegar
Okay.
in there. And the only other time, like if I'm doing it as a rinsing agent, like for windows or sinks, other than that, I rarely use vinegar for cleaning. I don't use it on my floors or my windows because I usually just use microfibers. So
Okay.
the system I was showing you for the countertop of just the microfiber and then the window microfiber,
Yep.
that is perfect for mirrors and appliances and glass and handles, anything that's smooth, anything you can clean. This system is killer. What most people don't get is they don't get the window microfiber. You need the window microfiber because that's the smooth one. And I think of that as my finishing cloth, my drying cloth. So again, it's wet and then dry. So it's like that whole movie, The Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. That's all there is to cleaning is wax on, wax off. So it's super, super simple. Another one of my very favorite cleaning recipes is cleaning the microwave. Because I don't want to put chemicals in my refrigerator or my microwave because that's where all the food is, right? So what I do is I just get a little cup, like just some kind of mug. This one just says, enjoy your now. So I fill it up, maybe 3/4 cup, and I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. And then I take out this cup, and then I go ahead and wipe down my microwave, and then I dry it. And you don't need any chemicals because what you've done is you've used heat and 2 minutes of time. So instead of using the chemical in there, you're using heat and agitation and time to do your cleaner. So also because most people use either washcloths or sponge, right? Some people are sponge people, some people are washcloths. I actually prefer not using a sponge because they are such a good container for bacteria, and usually they're just full of soap. So there's usually too high a concentration of soap. But if you do use sponges, putting your wet, damp, rinsed out damp sponge in your microwave for 2 minutes is the best way to disinfect it. It's better than putting it in the dishwasher or in the washing or the laundry. So 2 minutes in your microwave is the way to disinfect a sponge. But before you do that, always rinse and dry that, or rinse out that sponge. Get as much soap out of that sponge as you can. So that's the way. So 2 things in a microwave for 2 minutes. And honestly, if you're gonna heat this up for 2 minutes, you might as well throw your sponge in next to it. So that way you can serve on energy. Let's see how we doing on time. You know, the best way to really use green cleaning is all focusing about prevention. You know, the cleaning itself is so simple, but green cleaning works a million times easier if you're not trying to do restorative cleaning. And what I mean by restorative cleaning is you think about your shower. If you don't clean your shower and then every month or every 2 months you try to clean it, that's what I call restorative cleaning. You're working way too hard. So it's much better to think about prevention. How can I prevent having to work? So think of yourself as like the laziest person in the world. How can I do practically nothing in my house to make it better? So one of the best ways to prevent work is take your shoes off and have great entrance rugs in your house. That will prevent 78% of the soil getting tracked in, that you don't have to gather it up and remove it. So taking your shoes off will make your floors last way longer, all of them, which is completely environmentally friendly. In a shower, instead of ever having soap scum again, I recommend getting a handheld shower head and rinse after every time you take a shower, or at least the last person in, or I guess the last person out. After you're done, do a quick rinse and then dry it. If you just squeegee, what you're doing is you're redistributing the soap. So you want to do a rinse, because what happens in showers is it's like oatmeal. Is as soon as you take a shower, if you rinse it and dry it, no problem, it comes right off. If you let it sit up, it's like oatmeal and it sets up like concrete, and then it turns into soap scum. And then you have to use more aggressive means to remove it. But if you're always rinsing and dry it, you don't have soap scum. You don't have to use aggressive products in the house. Same thing with sinks. In my sink, I have microfibers hanging by my sinks, but you could use a cotton towel, that'd be fine. After you're done like brushing your teeth or something, rinse and dry your sink out. And then you're not going to have hard water deposits. Your sinks always look nice. And you're also removing the dirt and the germs as you go so that they don't build up.
And
Yes.
Denise, we're at 6:25 p.m. So
Okay.
we should maybe move to the hazardous waste portion
Yes,
of talking about
absolutely.
our home cleaners.
So as you're going through, like thinking about your house, what you really want to do is minimize how many chemicals in your house for so many reasons. For one, there are potential for poison if you have children and pets that can get into that. They also tend to off gas way more than you realize. So you may have a level of chemicals in your house that are adding to your indoor air quality being poor. Plus, if they spill and knock over, they could potentially be an incredibly hazardous chemical. So as you're looking through, you really want to minimize and not have that many. One of the ways to know what you have is to read your labels. How many of you read your labels of your chemicals? Not usually very many of us. It's not like a thing. So it's critical. A couple times that it's important to read your label is one, if it's a product you've used for a long time, you're so used to it, you probably don't even know what it is, and you're desensitized to how strong it is. So if you've used a product, especially one that's been passed down from generation to generations, take time and read the whole label. The front of it is advertising. The back of it is where the information is. What you're looking for is there's usually a key word. It's going to say like poison or danger or warning or caution. Or in the case like vinegar, it won't say anything because that's actually a food. So you're looking at it, but what I recommend is actually read the whole thing. So like this is a disinfectant. So if I was going to read this, I would see that this is hazardous to humans and domestic animals. Well, I'm a human and you're human. So just to know that this is actually hazardous, and anytime you use it, you're supposed to wash your hands, or I would recommend wearing gloves so you're not actually coming into contact with it. Then if you're going to use it for disinfecting, you want to let it sit there for 2 minutes. But before you disinfect it, you want to clean your surface. Now, keep in mind that most of what you need to do in a house is actually cleaning, not disinfectant. Sometimes we skip the most important part and we go right to disinfecting, when in fact, really, really good cleaning is more important than disinfectant. And matter of fact, if you're not cleaning, your disinfectants are probably not working very well. So if you are going to disinfect, I recommend completely cleaning. And this system I'm showing you, the rinse and the dry here, is perfect for prepping before using a disinfectant. And then like this one says specifically, let it sit for 2 minutes. And then what you want to do is remove it, especially if you're anywhere that you're going to be touching or your kids are going to be touching, or if there's food involved, because you don't want to ingest this, because again, it is hazardous to animals and humans. So again, anytime you have chemicals you've used a long time, anything that is a disinfectant, you want to read and make sure, because disinfectants, different ones have it last longer, of how long you need to let it sit there. Also, if it's a new product to you, make sure you read the whole label. And if it's just something in your cupboard, read the label. So what I like about the read the label thing is if I'm only using this product, I have one label to read. So my goal is to use these products a million ways. So I have vinegar, baking soda, and dishwashing liquid. And my microfibers. I want to use these 5 products a million different ways in my house. I don't want a million different products. I want to be the master of using these products. So when you go through your house, and this week, I want you to just go through the house, no judgment, just wander through your house and see how many chemicals you have, and just get an idea. And then when you're like going, oh my gosh, I can't believe how many things I have, then I want you to start boxing them up and taking them to hazardous waste. So there's the hazardous waste mobile is down at, I know it's called something else, but the super mall, what's it called now?
It's the outlet collection.
The outlet collection.
In Auburn.
In Auburn. So the outlet collection is around the outside of where it used to be the Super Mall, but the outlet collection, and I believe they are open on weekends. And so what you want to do is you would take your products and you put it in a box, make sure they stand up, they don't fall over, and you take it down there and they will just have you pull up and you'll open up your trunk. They will take the chemicals off. They may ask you what your zip code is, and you leave your containers. You don't even leave your containers with them. And then you drive off. That's how simple it is. But you don't want to throw these chemicals in the trash or down the drain, because we don't want this stuff to get into the environment. So when you start minimizing the chemicals in your house, you are doing a huge favor to our environment. They're not manufactured. They're not having to dispose of. They don't end up in our water systems, because you think about every time you use chemicals, they go down our drain, they get into our water system, they're in our air. And so the animals around us, the birds, the bees, and our water system, we're so close to water here. All of that is infected by all these chemicals. So by reducing, not only are you going to save buku bucks, you're going to give yourself so much space in your house. Your house is going to be healthier. Your time is going to be easier. You're going to save so much energy. But maybe most importantly is you're not harming the environment and yourself personally, your family. It's just for the health of everything. So all of these things kind of come together. Is there any, so just a quick I just want to kind of share again, the basic recipe is in cleaning is time, temperature, chemical, and agitation. What we do in our society is we maximize the chemicals. What I'm proposing is what we do is minimize the harshness of the chemical, maximize how long the dwell time, the temperatures we use, and our agitation. Microfibers are one of the best agitators out there. Well, I guess my husband would say I could do it, I'm a pretty good agitator. But if we're talking just cleaning, microfibers are one of the best in technology. You do want to take care of your microfibers and think of them as an investment. So when you're getting microfibers, get high quality ones. Do not wash with bleaches, dryer sheets, or fabric softeners, because the bleaches or the fabric softeners and the dryer sheets will coat your microfibers and they will not work effectively. So do not use those things with it. You want to use like a free and clear type laundry, and you want to make sure you get them good and dry, because we're in the Northwest and sometimes microfibers take a little longer. Don't wash them with towels, fuzzy terry cloth towels, because the terry cloth will just go, and then you'll have linty microfibers, which aren't as pretty. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Okay, and then again, if you're washing, always rinse and dry. Okay, now I think we're open for questions.
Yes, we can move to the question portion.